Hello, and welcome to another edition on Edition. And I'll start again. I'm not going to restart the video because I'm used to these by now, a little tongue twisting myself. Let me even started the video properly, so I'll start again. Hello, and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I'm the English Guy, and Nick, thank you so much for clicking on the video, and I hope you have stayed after that slight screw up on the intro. But you know what, as I said, I've done these before, so these little things happen. I'm not going to complain about it because it's a bit of fun. It's entirely independent as this is. So there we go. In this one, we're going to be covering the AEW Dark Elevation episode, which happened on the 19th of July 2021. So that being said, jump right into it. The opening matchup was between the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, and Zachariah. And this was a typical Lance Archer match. Basically brought his opponent to the ring before the match even started and just obliterated him and hit him with the blackout. And that's it. It's basically a simple, quick squash match as we're used to from Lance Archer in each environment. So there we go. Thumbs up. And this matchup was a tag matchup between Chaos Project versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. And I've got to say, I love both teams. I really do. And this was a superb tag match. But also, it was a comedy tag match, which in a way, I wasn't expecting from AEW because they don't usually do that. And having said that, AEW does have some funny elements, and Chaos Project are one of them because they are the most undeniably one of the most entertaining tag teams in all of AEW for just the weirdest reasons. The craziness shouting of Luther, using Serpentico as a weapon, and you're facing Orange Cassidy, the King of Sloth style, and Chuck Taylor, and they can both be funny as well. And they were here, to be honest with you. This was not what I expected in this matchup, but I'm definitely not complaining because it was so good. It's a matchup you probably won't see again in AEW unless somehow they do something a bit different in the future with other tag teams, with it facing either one of these teams in this matchup. But you know what? That being said, the tag team continuity when it was not really funny moments was very good. And I thought it was a very good showing from Chaos Project. And even though Best Friends did win, it was still good showing from both teams. And Orange Cassidy, he's the most reliable guy in all AEW. You know, he's the king of sloth style, but you can't help but love him. Simple as that, really. And the same goes for Chuck Taylor, savvy veteran by this point. The same goes for their opponents, though. And the way they worked this matchup, yes, there was a lot of funny moments involved, but it was a good tag match, which could have been main event. And if it wouldn't be for the comedy side, because there was some very good tag team continuity throughout the whole matchup, to be honest with you. And I enjoyed this one a great deal. And the comedy just added to it, so I'm definitely not going to argue with that. So it was a very unique matchup, like I said. You won't probably see another one like this for a long time in AEW. If you do, it may not be too soon. So thumbs up to all four men for producing a matchup that was good in more ways than one. So, you know, and you can't complain about that. So there you go, definitely thumbs up for that. And this matchup was Carlos Shida versus Dulce Tormenta making their AEW debut. And the one thing that has been very, very good in 2021 has been the women's division. It's always been good, but in 2021 it's been great. And it's been given more opportunities to people we've not really seen before. And Dulce Tormenta was another one. And she was very good. But the matchup belonged to Hikaru Shida, former AEW Women's Champion and arguably one of the very best women wrestlers in the world. She's an incredible striker, good wrestler. There's not much she can't do. And, you know, she's one of the most consistent wrestlers in all of AEW. And she did win the matchup with the Katana, but Tormenta did get some good moves in. But this was Hikaru Shida's match. And she was very impressive. She did some great moves in this matchup. And she showed why she is Hikaru Shida and did a very good job. So she picked up win, but it was a decent matchup that mostly did belong to Hikaru Shida, but let's say that her opponent didn't get some chances, because she did, so can't fault that, so thumbs up indeed. Moves up to the next matchup, and another very, very quick matchup. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Lucas Chase, and basically 1 or 2 hits, hit the town business, which is his hard-hitting spine buster to win the matchup. Powerhouse Hobbs did, that is, and won, so there we go. And the matchup was Frankie Kazarian versus Baron Black. And I only wish this matchup could have gone a little bit longer because I thought the continuity between these two was actually quite decent, even though it was mostly Frankie Kazarian. Baron Black is very underrated. I think he's very good. I think he's got a lot of potential to push forward in AEW. I hope he really does because I think he's great. But Frankie Kazarian, one of the very best all-rounders in all AEW, and a guy of like for many years. I think he's fantastic. He's such an underrated wrestler. I think he's really, really, really good. And he's starting to show a little bit more of that with a new move in his repertoire. He's been using the crossface chicken wing as his finisher recently, and we never really seen him do that before. He used to use the flux capacitor, doesn't really use that anymore, and other moves too. But you know what? He's adding to his arsenal, and for a guy who's been doing it as long as he has, that's great. You know, there's always room to put new stuff in, and that's exactly what he's done. So can't fault it, and I couldn't fault this matchup. I just wish it had gone a little bit longer because I thought it was a good match for what these two did. So, but what it was fine. So I can't fault it. So thumbs up indeed. And this matchup was an Helico versus Jungle Boy, and this was, I'm going to say, probably match of the night for me. But there's some really good matches, but we'll get to later. And you know, and Helico, arguably the best submission wrestler in all of AEW, and just one of the best all-rounders. There's not much the guy can't do. But when you're facing arguably the star of the moment, Jungle Boy, the crowd's going to be in Jungle Boy's corner, and it was. But not to say Helico didn't do a very good job here, because he did a very good job. But Helico doesn't not know how to do that because he's that good. And Jungle Boy, as I said, he is the man of the moment in AEW. The fans are behind him 100%. And he deserves it because he's worked harder than anybody else in match-wise in AEW because he's had more matches than anybody in AEW. And he's won quite a few of them. So nothing wrong with that. But this was actually a very good wrestling match, to be fair. And I thought both men showed why they are so revered. And these two, you know, any day of the week, I'd love to see him have another match because this was really, really good stuff from both men. Counter wrestling was up there, and Helico showed why he's so good, but then so did Jungle Boy. Yeah, he is the man of the moment, as I said. And this was main event worthy, to be honest with you. And you know, said, arguably my match of the night, there were some very good matches, but we'll get to those a bit later. But I enjoyed this one a great deal, and I knew it would be a great matchup considering the two talents involved. They went out there and they showed exactly why they are so good. So can't fault that. Thumbs up for sure. It brings up to the next matchup which was Julia Hart versus Red Velvet, and this was one of the matches of the night for me, but for different reasons. I thought both women had a superb showing here, very equally matched in terms of their movesets, their athleticism, and Julia Hart is only 19 years old, and for one so young, she's shown a lot of improvement. And Red Velvet is a reliable as you can come wrestler in AEW and has been for some time now. But these two really were going at neck and neck pretty much throughout the whole matchup. And it was a very good back and forth matchup. There was no real clear advantage at any point until the very end when Red Velvet hit a running overdrive, which is kind of like Booker T's scissor kick, but instead of doing a scissor kick, she wrapped her head around Julia Hart and did an overdrive. So it's kind of like a running overdrive, stroke scissor kick. So very, very impressive. And I've never seen that move before. Never seen Red Velvet use it before, to be honest with you. But it was a good finish to what was a very good back and forth matchup. There wasn't really any time we thought, okay, this woman's going to get the advantage. No, she's going to get the advantage. It just didn't feel that way. And it was not very often you see these kind of back and forth matches in terms of what they did, how they did it, the athleticism, I'll say it right, the movement, and just, you know, back and forth offense that worked. And it worked very well. I thought this was a very, very good matchup. And as I said, not many matches you see like this in the women's division in AEW, but definitely not complaining. And both women showed very, very good promise here. And Julie Hart lost nothing in this matchup, to be honest. I think she was great. The day belonged to Red Velvet. And she did win. And in a matchup that was hard to call who was going to win, but Red Velvet did win. And that's definitely no bad thing. And definitely no bad showing from Julie Hart. So definitely thumbs up to both ladies for a very, very good matchup. Really enjoyed it as well. The next matchup was Brock Anderson and Lee Johnson versus the Gun Club, B and Colton Gunn. And all four members, actually three of them, are part of the Nightmare family, which is Lee Johnson and the Gun Club. I don't know if Brock Anderson is part of the Nightmare Factory. My apologies, not the Gun Club. So the Nightmare Factory. So Yeah, Colton is nothing wrong with that because he's going to be in very, very good hands. And this was a good back and forth tag matchup. And the surprise was at the ending when Colton Gunn hooked Lee Johnson's tights to get the pinfall in something I did not see coming. And very, very like Colton Gunn, to be completely honest with you. But unusual and surprising finish aside, this was a very, very good tag match, to be completely honest with you. All four men, showed why they're in AEW. And even though this was only Brock Anderson's, I think, fourth or fifth ever matchup, he's showing why, he is really showing why he is the son of Arn Anderson, if that makes any sense. Excuse me. He did very, very well here. But everybody did. It was a good back and forth tag matchup. Again, back and forth between both teams. No real clear cut winner until the hook of the tights, which was, again, a bit of a surprise. But you know what? Sometimes situations like this happen, you kind of think, what's going to happen next? So I'm actually curious to see what is going to happen next. All signs point to what happens between Lee Johnson and possibly Golden Gun. I see a singles match in the future, but only time will tell. But a very good, enjoyable tag match for sure. So thumbs up to all four men for that. Brings up to the matchup: Fuego del Sol versus Luchasaurus. And when I say Jungle Boy is the man of the moment in AEW, Fuego del Sol is the unsigned talent man of the moment in AEW. A firm fan favourite. Everyone loves Fuego del Sol, including me. He's amazing. And got his first win recently. He get the win here. Luchasaurus did win with that spinning chokeslam into a knee, which was brutal. And won the match in fairly quick fashion. And Fuego lost, but you know what? I love Luchasaurus, I really do. So, there you go, thumbs up. Really good. So the next matchup was Sean Dean versus Dante Martin, and two guys as of late who've been very, very good in AEW. Sean Dean has been getting some matches as of late, has been very impressive. He's been very, very good. But Dante Martin is a guy who has had an incredible singles run. Obviously, one half of Top Flight, his brother Darius is on his list still, unfortunately. And if you've ever seen Top Flight, you'll know they are arguably one of the most exciting tag teams in wrestling today. They're incredible. Dante Martin is continuing the tradition, of just being a firecracker. Best way to describe him. He's fantastic. There's not much he can't do. He's so ridiculously athletic and talented. It's hard to describe. And this was a good back and forth matchup between these two. I think this was, again, a good showing what AEW talent's all about. And even though Dante won, Sean Dean had a very good showing here, to be honest. And he did show why he's very, very good and deserves to be where he is. I think Sean Dean is a class actor in AEW, and he works very, very hard. So does Dante Martin. Even though Sean lost, it was a very good showing, to be fair. And this was a short but entertaining matchup between both men. So can't fault that. So thumbs up for both men. There we go. So next matchup, it was Tay Conte and Serenity versus Vert, Vixen, and Jasmine Law. And this was a fairly short match, to be honest with you. And the day belonged to Tay Conte and Serenity, and first time ever tagging together, I think. Don't quote me on it. But no, they were quite good as a tag team, to be fair. And a tag team that seems to work when you've got the vast experience of Serenity and such a good wrestler. Serenity is amazing. And Tay Conte, who I've said it before and I'll say again, has had the most improved run as a wrestler in 2021 in the women's division in AEW. They just work so well as a tag team. And Vert, Vixen and Jasmine Law did get one or two shots in, but this was definitely Tay Conte and Serenity's matchup. And they did win the matchup in fairly convincing fashion. So, there we go. Which brings us to the main event. It was Eddie Kingston and Penta El Cerro Miro versus the Wingmen, which was JD Drake and Cesar Bononi. One second, sorry. Apologies about that, sorry. This was a very good main event, to be fair, and these two teams just clicked. No other way to say it. And I really do like the Wingmen, I do, of whichever combination it is, whether it's JD Drake or Cesar Bononi, tagging with any other members of the Wingmen, it just works. And this was a great example of that. Bononi and Drake worked well as a tag team, but when you're facing two superb veterans like Penta and Eddie, two of the most over men in AEW, you're in for a tough challenge, and they were. But I will say that Benoni and Drake got some very good shots in this matchup. But Penta and Eddie showed why they are such a good tag team. Even though Penta, obviously, one half of the Lucha Brothers with Ray Phoenix, who's on the injured list right now. But it's great to see Eddie teaming with Penta because they're obviously old friends. And they just work as a tag team, no other way to say it. And this was a very, very good tag team main event. And one of the matches of the night, to be fair. The hard-hitting offense from both men, from both teams on each other, the continuity, the near falls, the near misses, shall we say, just really added to it. And there was not much in this matchup I did not enjoy. I thought this was a good show from both men. And, Eddie and Penta winning was the right call, but the women had a very good showing here too. There was pretty much action and things all over the place, but controlled in a very good environment. And it worked, so I can't fault that. And this was a good main event to top off what was overall a very entertaining episode of AEW Dark Elevation. So can't fault that. So definite thumbs up to everybody involved in the show for producing an entertaining show. And on that positive note, I will end the review here. So thank you so much for watching. I will see everybody next time. Until that time, take care.